Hello and welcome to the history of cinemas in the Canterbury area in Kent. 1903. The Empire Music Hall in Canterbury opens on December 26, showing early films along with stage acts. 1909. The Assembly Rooms Theatre in Canterbury starts to show films. 1911. The Palais de Luxe Cinema in Whitstable opens on January 7. On March 10, the Canterbury Cinematograph Theatre in Canterbury opens. The Canterbury Electric Cinema in Canterbury opens on June 1. The Cinema de Luxe in Herne Bay opens on August 7. 1912. The Cinema de Luxe in Herne Bay becomes the Bijou Cinema. 1913. On February 26, the Picture House in Whitstable opens. 1915. The St. George Theatre in Canterbury opens on February 8. The Canterbury Cinematograph Theatre in Canterbury closes. 1919. The Casino Cinema in Herne Bay opens on May 26. The Bijou Cinema in Herne Bay becomes the Coliseum Cinema. 1926. The Empire Music Hall in Canterbury stops showing films. The Coliseum Cinema in Herne Bay becomes the Red Lantern Cinema. 1927. The Canterbury Electric Cinema in Canterbury closes on November 5. On November 7, the Central Picture Theatre in Canterbury opens. 1931. On February 9, the Trock Cinema in Tankerton opens. 1932. Associated British Cinemas takes over the Trock Cinema in Tankerton. 1933. On August 5, Odeon opens the Friar Theatre, which is named since there is the Odeon Dance Hall in Canterbury. Also, on August 5 the Regal Cinema opens. 1934. The St. George Theatre in Canterbury closes. 1935. The Regal Cinema in Canterbury is taken over by ABC Cinemas. 1936. The Casino and Red Lantern Cinemas in Herne Bay is taken over by Union Cinemas. On July 27, the Oxford Cinema in Whitstable reopens. The Odeon Theatre in Herne Bay opens on November 2. 1937. These cinemas are taken over by ABC. The Red Lantern Cinema in Herne Bay closes. The Picture House in Whitstable becomes the Argosy. 1938. In April, the Friars in Canterbury is renamed Odeon, but the dance hall protested, and the theatre is renamed back to Friars. 1939. Reopening, ABC Trock Cinema in Tankerton. 1942. The ABC Regal and Central Picture Theatres in Canterbury are bombed on October 31, with both being reopened early in 1943. 1947. ABC closes the Trock Cinema in Tankerton. 1948. ABC closes the Central Picture Theatre in Canterbury. 1949. The Embassy Cinema in Tankerton reopens on January 3. 1950. The Embassy Cinema in Tankerton is closed and reopened in November as a 16mm cinema. The Argosy Cinema in Whitstable becomes the Regal Cinema. 1951. The Embassy Cinema in Tankerton closes. 1954. The ABC Casino Cinema in Herne Bay closes. 1955. The Friar Theatre, which is owned by Odeon, is finally renamed Odeon on December 19. 1960. The Regal Cinema in Whitstable closes. 1963. The ABC Regal in Canterbury is renamed ABC Canterbury. 1967. The Odeon Cinema in Herne Bay is sold to Classic Cinemas. 1969. The Gulbenkian Cinema in Canterbury opens in October. 1972. The ABC Canterbury is split up, with the stalls becoming the bingo hall and the balcony becoming the cinema. 1981. The Odeon Canterbury stops showing films. 1982. The Classic Cinema in Herne Bay becomes the Canon Herne Bay. 1984. The Oxford Cinema in Whitstable closes on October 4. 1986. The ABC Canterbury becomes the Canon Canterbury. 1987. The Canon Herne Bay closes. 1988. The Canon Canterbury adds its second screen from the former bingo hall. 1993. The Canon Canterbury 1 and 2 becomes the MGM Canterbury 1 and 2. 1994. In January, the Imperial Oyster Cinema in Whitstable opens. 1995. On April 7, the Kavanagh Cinema 1 and 2 in Herne Bay opens. The MGM Canterbury 1 and 2 becomes the ABC Canterbury 1 and 2. 2000. Odeon takes over the ABC Canterbury 1 and 2. 2003. The Imperial Oyster Cinema in Whitstable closes on November 6. 2004. The Horsebridge Arts Centre Cinema in Whitstable opens. 2014. On October 17, the Curzon Canterbury opens with 3 screens. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.